Welcome to the Bogart Effect, a wealthy wisdom podcast. Please see important disclosure information at the end of the presentation. Now, I think a lot of individuals have changed their timelines where it's let's go as soon as we possibly can.
Yeah.
And what's the decisions that need to go into that as well, right? So building out this plan, I mean, we're going to belabor this whole conversation around having a plan, but the earlier, the better we can engage. And it's not just the investment conversation. Right. I was actually having a conversation with one of our employees' children about how they should be saving. And it's, well, should I? And this is someone in their mid-20s, right? Mm-hmm. So should they be saving for the down payment of a house? Should they be maxing out their 401k plan? Should they be saving for a car? Should they rent? Should they buy? Right? Like these are all the conversations that in your 20s, like it's so hard because everything's chipping away at the same cash flows. But it has a direct impact on this retirement conversation, right? So it's why it's so important to actually be direct about it early on. And especially even if this is just a little tangent about your kids as they go into the workforce, like helping them with this financial literacy conversation, because that's really what this is. Right. And emphasizing the need to be very deliberate in how you're saving. Wealth accumulation is very simple. Spend less than you make, right? Like, and give it some time and you're going to be able to be okay, right? Like what I'm finding now, and this is a societal comment, is that less and less of that emphasis is being placed. Mm-hmm. If you think about it, we have 336 million Americans, only 4.8 million have $1 million of investable assets. 1.8 million have 5 million of investable assets. So like when you talk about statistics, and it's like, this conversation is so important, and it's important to have it as early as possible. And related to your comment about understanding the income sources, well, 30 years ago, 48% of the S&P 500 companies had pensions. Yeah. Now, there are 13 of them, not percent, 13 of them, right? So pension model's going away. It's placing more emphasis on the need to save. Cash comp has gone up, right, to offset some of that. But the reality of it is the savings hasn't gone up at a proportional level, right? So this need is becoming so important. And that's why engagement as early as possible, right? Like in the perfect world, we're talking to them in their 20s. We revisit with them in their 30s and we're getting ready in their 40s and implementation in their 50s, right? Yeah. Like that's the high level. So let's bring it back, right? Let's talk a little bit about the previous presentation by Bogart Wealth was intended for general information purposes only. No portion of the presentation serves as the receipt of or as a substitute for personalized investment advice from Bogart Wealth or any other investment professional of your choosing. Different types of investments involve varying degrees of risk, and it should not be assumed that future performance of any specific investment or investment strategy or any other non-investment related or planning services, discussion, or content will be profitable, be suitable for your portfolio or individual situation, or prove successful. Neither Bogart Wealth's investment advisor registration status nor any amount of prior experience or success should be construed that a certain level of results or satisfaction will be achieved if Bogart Wealth is engaged or continues to be engaged to provide investment advisory services. Bogart Wealth is neither a law firm nor accounting firm, and no portion of its services shall be construed as legal or accounting advice. No portion of the podcast content should be construed by a client or prospective client as a guarantee that he or she will experience a certain level of results if Bogart Wealth is engaged or continues to be engaged to provide investment advisory services. Copies of Bogart Wealth's current written disclosure brochure and Form CRS discussing our advisory services and fees are available upon request or at www.bogartwealth.com.